We are in a very, very, very incredible position now in world history. Human civilization is now witnessing firsthand, how something so tiny, invisible, has the power to dominate and destroy everything. Economies and people, it's crazy, And so it's like, this virus is now like putting us in a position, it's asking us a question. Do you want to continue to be living in Egypt that you have been living in for the last 6,000 years, 3,000, whatever it is? As a human civilization, do you want to continue to live in existence where it's one leader versus another leader, this economy, this market versus the bears versus the bulls, or do you want to say, no, it's not about me trying to kind of carve a living out of this world. It's not just, I don't want things to go back to the status quo. I don't want things to go back to normal, because normalcy equals Mitzrayim. Normal means going back to Egypt, where if I have a good job, if I have, financial security, I have the things that I need, then okay, I'll be able to work hard, I'll be able to retire, I'll be able to spend time with my kids, my grandkids, and, a normal life. And we're now in a position where Hashem is like, is that what you want? Is that all that you want? That's not why I put you here. That's not why I created you. If we can, so to speak, band together as first and foremost for the Jewish people, and to say, Hashem, we do not want to be normal. We don't want to go back to normalcy. We want to come out of Egypt, and we recognize, we understand that there is no other reality other than your reality. There is no other purpose for creation other than to reveal your majesty in the world. Period. It's not about how much money I have. It's not about how good of a person I am. It's not about how nice I am to my neighbor. It's about revealing the majesty of Hashem in the world, period. That is the only purpose for our existence. Everything else that is not geared to that ultimate purpose is Mitzrayim. And it's awakening the judgment, it's awakening the Gevurah, it's awakening the Klipa. And so we have to make that decision. And we're like, it's right now. Like mamish right now that we can end this phase, this era that we have been in, and we can begin a new era in human civilization. We can begin a new path in our history to be able to go past all of the limits that we thought we had, and to be able to live in a completely elevated level of reality. Something that we never dreamed before. All of the 3,000 years of prophets and prophecies that were talked about, it's like culminating right now in this moment. There's a window here. There's a window, and Hashem's like, you want it? You want it? It's your choice. It's your choice. I'll let you guys in a little secret, okay? In Jewish law, there's two concepts called the Reshut HaYechid and Reshut HaRabim. There's the domain, there's what's called the private domain, and there's the public domain. Reshut HaYechid is the private domain, your house, your own personal house, and the Reshut HaRabim is the public domain. And on Shabbat, we are not allowed to take from the Reshut HaYechid to the Reshut HaRabim, and vice versa. Meaning, Ish al yitzemi beito b'yom Shabbat, that you have to yitzemi mimkomo, that you have to stay in Reshut HaYechid on Shabbat. On Shabbat, you have to stay in your private domain, can't go outside, can't take outside. Yeah? The Arizal explains that the Reshut HaYechid, the private domain, which literally translates to the domain of the one, represents the world of Atzilut. It represents the conscious revelation that there is no reality other than Hashem. That's called Kedusha. That's called Atzilut. That's called Shabbat. Shabbat Kodesh. That's called Reshut HaYachid. Reshut HaRabim, which literally translates to the domain of the many, which represents the lower worlds of Bria, Yetzir, and Asiyah, which represents the created realities, the fragmented realities of self-perception where all of this chaos exists. When everyone now has to go into bidud, they have to go into isolation, what is Hashem telling us? Go back into the Reshut of the Yechid. Come out of the fragmented consciousness that you've been living in. Come out of the domain of the many and enter back into the consciousness of the one. That's what going into isolation is talking about. It's saying, free your mind from the duality and the multiplicity of the world that you have been experiencing. Go back, elevate back into the consciousness of the one. Understand that there is no other reality than Hashem. And then no virus will be able to affect you. We need to be pumping ourselves with the inner dimensions of the Torah, because if I'm only looking at reality from that superficial level, instead of going to the root of it and understanding that we need to be the people that represent unity in the world. So God is asking us right now, look, you're not perfect. I know you're not perfect, okay? You never were perfect. Forget about it. Can you love one another? Can you put your bickering aside? Stop looking to your leaders for direction because they can't get their act together. Sorry, Bibi. Sorry, Binyamin. It's just crazy. At the leadership level, at the head of Israel, the people that are supposed to be now giving the direction for the people, for the nation, right? They're in a state of total separation, total disunity. They can't get their act together. And Hashem's like, do you want to make a change? Then start to bring yourself out of the Reshut HaRabim into the Reshut HaYachid. Come out of that duality consciousness. Start to unify yourselves as a people. Stop judging one another and pointing the fingers at one another. And reconnect to the essential unity and connection that you have with every single one of your Jewish brothers and sisters.